After learning Python, it is time to put your skills to work with some exercises that allows you to solve problems as well as put those skills to action. Hello everyone, welcome to TechSense, and let's start with today's video. Make sure to pause the video at each exercise, do it on your own, and then come back for the answer. Exercise number 1. Find if a string is a palindrome string or not. Palindrome means that word, phrase, or number can be read backwards, same as forward. Check these words, RateScar and Google. Extra, check if this number is palindrome or not. Definitely if we need to define a function, I'm gonna call it pal. So we need 3 arguments, word 1, word 2. I'm doing the extra, which is to check if a number is a palindrome or not. Let's start with the number. We need to reverse a number, and in Python we cannot reverse numbers. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna declare a variable called c, and I'm gonna typecast this num1 to a string. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reverse word 1, word 2, and c. How to do it? I'm gonna say reverse 1, reverse 2, and reverse 3. Equal to, I'm gonna use the slicing method to reverse a string. So I'm gonna say word 1, brackets, double colon, -1. Same as for the word 2. If you try the slicing method on a number, you'll get an error. That's why I turned the number into a string. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna say if word 1 is equal to reverse. If it is equal, it will be a palindrome string. I'll print something like, I'll use an S string, word 1 is a palindrome string. Else, it's not a palindrome string. Then I'm gonna do another if block for the word 2. I did a if block for the word 2, and now let's do it for the number. Now if I call my function pal, I'm gonna first give it an argument, RateScar, then Google, then the number 789, 987. Let's launch our program. As you can see, RateScar is a palindrome string, because if you reverse RateScar, it will be read backwards, same as forward. If you reverse Google, it will not be read backwards, same as forward. That's why it's not a palindrome string. And 789987 is a palindrome. Oh, I should change to number instead of string. 78987 is a palindrome string because if you reverse this number, it will be read backwards, same as forward. Now this is the first exercise. I hope you did it correctly, and let's jump into the next one. In the next exercise, they want us to generate a list of 9 numbers, then double each element inside of this list. Then divide the list into 3 separate chunks, and this is the expected output. I'm gonna declare a variable called list, and this list will store a range of numbers from 0 to 9. Of course 9 is excluded, so we will have 0 to 8. Then I'm gonna use the map function to iterate through this list and double each element of this list. The map function is an iterator. It iterates through the list. Same as the for loop. Maybe use the for loop. It's okay, it's the same thing. Now what I'm gonna say now is I'm gonna use an anonymous function, which is lambda. Anonymous functions are functions that has no name. If you want to check out this video about anonymous function, I'm gonna say lambda x is like y. When you say for I in list, x is like y. It will iterate through the list. So x multiplied by 2. Then I need to specify what list I'm iterating in. So lst. And then I need to convert my map function into a list. So I print for you the before and after. As you can see, we iterate through the list and double each number. Now let's divide the new list lst2 to 3 chunks. I'm going to use a starting point and an ending point. And so it will be 0 and 3. You'll know why right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a for loop for I in range 1 to 4. Because I want 3 chunks, so I'll iterate 3 times. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to declare a variable. I'll name it slicing. Why? Because I'm gonna use the slicing function right now. I'll say something like slice, specify 2 arguments or parameters, start and the end. I'll say result is equal to, I'll say lst2 index slicing. Now start is equal to 0 and end is equal to 3. When I say lst2 index slicing or brackets slicing, that means I'm saying this form. You know how we work with indexes, right? So it is the same thing. And why did I use slicing? Because I want to change those values each time that I finish the loop. I'm gonna leave this and I'm gonna go down here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first print the chunk, the first chunk. I'll say an f string chunk I, that means the first chunk. At the first iteration, I is equal to 1. So chunk 1 is equal to result. Next, I need to increment start and end. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to declare a variable called c, and c will store the value of end. And I'm going to say the start will be equal to end. So start will be equal to 3. And then what I'm going to do to end is I'm going to increment it by its old value. That's why I store it inside c. I'll say end is equal to or plus equal to c. Chunk 1 equal to this value, chunk 2 and chunk 3. So first we have start equal to 0, end equal to 3. When we use the slice method, start is equal to 0 and end is equal to 3. I use the bracket notation. It is like saying this form using indexes, and the slicing variable stores this form. So when I said here lst2 index slicing, it is the same thing of using indexes from the start to end, which means index 0 all the way to index 2 because the last index is excluded. Then I'll print the first chunk and then change the values of start and end. So start will become 3 and end will become 6. Next we have word counter. Now it's not a normal word counter. What we'll do is the user will input a sentence. Then we'll return a dictionary that shows how much each letter appeared in the string. In this word counter function, it takes one parameter, which is a string, and the string says hello and welcome to TextSend. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to declare two variables, lst and deco. lst will be a list that will store the string inside, and deco will be an empty dictionary. What I'm going to try to do first is I'm going to iterate through the list and take off all the white spaces. I'll say for I in lst, if I equal to white space, I will simply just say lst.remove I. Then I'm going to reiterate through this list and count the number of occurrence of each element. So I'll say for G in lst, then I'm going to say deco.update, that means add to that dictionary what comes inside the parenthesis. The key will be G and its value will be lst.count G. So G here will be first H. When I say deco.update H as the key and its value will be lst.count H, H appeared only one time in my string, so we will have H and then 1. And same as for the other elements. Before launching, I'm gonna print my deco or dictionary. As you can see, we got this dictionary over here. H appeared one time, E appeared 5 times, L 3 times, O 3 times, and so on for the others. The fourth exercise is the Fibonacci sequence. The Fibonacci sequence is a series of numbers in which each number is the sum of two preceding numbers. Example 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. What we'll do is we'll try to find the first 10 Fibonacci numbers and store them inside a list. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare three variables, lst, a, and b. lst will be an empty list, a will store 0 and b will store 1. I'm gonna use a for loop for I in range. Because we want the first 10 Fibonacci numbers, I'll say 10 over here. What I'll do now is I need to add a and b and store them of course in a variable called c. So a plus b. Then I need to change the value of a. A was 0, so now it will become 1 by saying a equal to b. B is 1, so a right now is 1. Then we need to change the value of b. So b equal to c, which is a plus b. What I'm going to say now is I'm going to say lst.append. I'm going to say append a. And this is the first 10 Fibonacci numbers. At the first iteration, c is equal to 0 plus 1. C is equal to 1. A will be equal to 1, so I'm going to append it to the list, and that is the first one. B will be changed to 1. I equal to 1 this time. C is equal to a plus b, which is 2, 1 and 1. A will be equal to 1 because b is actually equal to 1. B this time will be equal to 2. I will be then 2. C is equal to 1 plus 2, which is 3. A is equal to b, which is 2. And b is now equal to c, which is 3, and so on to get this sequence over here. The next exercise is, we'll reverse each word in a string, and this is the expected output. First, I'm gonna store my string inside of a list, but I'm gonna use the split function to split it into parts. So the split function will split my string each time it sees a white space. So there's a white space over here. This will be alone in the index number 0. This will be at index number 1, and this will be an element at index number 2. So I'm gonna say lst equal to string.split. Next, I'm gonna declare a variable called result, and I'll store inside of it a string. Then I'm gonna use a for loop for I in lst to iterate through the list, and each time I see a character, I'm gonna reverse it. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna add the result with the reversed string. So what I'll do is I'll say I, and this is the method to reverse a string. We saw that in the exercise number 1. Then I'm gonna add a white space to give some spaces between the letters, or the words, let's say. Next, I'm gonna just print res, or result. This is what we have inside of this list. At the first iteration, I will be this element. I said I want to reverse this element, so we reversed it, and we added to this string over here, followed by a white space, so the white space is over here. Then I will be 2 right here, this element. It reverses it, adds to res with a white space, and so this is the white space, and so on for text set. Alright, this is it on the top 5 Python exercises for beginners. I hope you got those exercises right. If you think you need to refresh your memory on Python, check out this Python playlist. But if you're good in Python, go ahead and check out these top 5 exercises to work with loops.